And I do believe that we have rotten politics, and I'm not using that as an exaggeration.
Hey everyone and welcome. In this video we're going to be having a look at Keir Starmer, the habitual liar, the fence sitter. He sits on the fence that much, his backside looks like a cactus with all of the splinters. Well, it seems, as you may be aware, he had a bit of a whoopsie in London and hit a cyclist in his car. Well, it seems that the police have got no record of him speaking to an officer before he left the scene, which is, as we all know, a crime of hit and run. Now, he did stop and check that the cyclist was okay, apparently, and wait for the ambulance, but he didn't wait for the police to turn up, which is still a crime. Do you think he'll get done for it? Nah, will he heck? It's titled, Keir Starmer Crash, Police Say No Record of Speaking to Officer Before Leaving the Scene. Keir Starmer has been caught up in a new crisis after the Labour Party were forced to clarify their leader did not speak to an officer before leaving the scene of a collision with a cyclist. The Labour Party leader is understood to have been driving through northwest London around midday on Sunday for an appointment with his tailor when the Toyota RAV4 SUV he was driving hit a cyclist near his home in this Kentish town. Sir Keir Starmer, the former Director of Public Prosecutions, who should know better, exchanged insurance details with the man before leaving him in the care of an ambulance crew, who took the cyclist to hospital with an injured arm. 2 Metropolitan Police cars arrived only to discover the Labour leader had already left the scene. Are we seeing this as more unequal policing? Because I'm starting to look like it's going to be. Are we ready for the rest? Police officers then travelled to Sir Keir's home and left a note. Oh, they left him a little love note requesting he reports to his local station for questioning, which he did that afternoon. Guess what happened? He wasn't arrested and he wasn't interviewed under caution.
That pees me off just on its own.
Yep.
We'll just leave him a note on his door. Any ordinary person, they'd
have tracked him down and arrested you.
Yeah.
100% they would have done.
Whether they were at their tailor's getting a new suit or in the hairdressers, they would have been dragged out handcuffed.
Yep. Yeah, it's more double standards, is it not? With an investigation into the collision from the Met's Roads and Transport Policing Command ongoing. So he gets the command. We don't even get the police to turn up if we've had a burglary. He gets command. A spokesman for Sir Keir had said Keir was involved in a minor road traffic accident on Sunday. And here's the line. Are you ready? He spoke to a British transport police officer who attended the scene and swapped details with the officer and the other individual involved. Keir stayed at the scene until the ambulance arrived. Later that afternoon, he reported the incident to a police station, which is against the law, in accordance with the law. That is not how it's done. If there is an ambulance that's needed, you have to stay for the police. We know this, and he came from law. Since the incident, Keir has also been in touch with the other individual involved, probably to try and pay him off so that he didn't go to the papers. Tough luck, Keir, you hit and runner, you criminal. But a British Transport Police spokesman said they had no record of speaking with Sir Keir and that no details had been logged onto their system. Labour's claim Sir Keir spoke to an officer was dismissed by British Transport Police, who confirmed it had in fact been an off-duty member of staff, understood to be a PCSO. Right, let me stop you there. PCSOs are not police officers. Whether they're on duty or not, they are not police officers. They are support staff. They're not allowed to take details. They're not allowed to investigate. They're not allowed to do any of that. So to say that he left it with a PCSO effectively means he left it with not the police. That's a crime.
Well, technically, if the guy's off duty, he's not a police officer at that moment in time. He's just a civilian like everyone else.
Yeah, and PCSOs aren't even police.
That is disgusting, what he's done.
Police Constable Support Officer.
Yeah.
Who happened to be a witness in the PCSO. Here we go. PCSOs are not police officers and do not have the powers to investigate any crime, arrest potential suspects or interview and process prisoners. The British Transport Police spokesman said it was an off-duty member of BTP staff that provided their details as a witness to the collision, not a police officer. So effectively, he's a hit and runner. But a senior source close to Labour said Sir Keir had swapped details with an individual who came up to him and said they were an officer. So he didn't bother asking for a badge or any of that sort of thing. This is just a get out, isn't it? They said that's why they swapped the badge number. If British Transport Police say the individual wasn't a police officer, then fine. Keir was at the police station 2 hours later anyway. Doesn't matter how long ago, how long after. You have to stay at the scene of an accident until the police arrive and medical arrive for the injured parties. The Metropolitan Police had earlier refused to confirm confirmed Sir Keir was involved in the accident. Of course he did. Adding the person in question had swapped details with the cyclist but had left the scene before officers arrived. See, anyone else, like you said though, they would be chasing them down and arresting them no matter where they were.
Yeah, slapping the handcuffs on and sticking them in the back of the car.
Yep, they confirmed the driver later attended a nearby police station and was not arrested or interviewed under caution. Wow. So, what we're getting from this so far is that the law doesn't apply to MPs.
It looks that way, and if that is the case, it's disgraceful. Whether they've got power above us because they run the government or not, it should be the law is for everyone by all standards, no matter how far up the ranks you are in power.
Yeah, exactly. The Met said in a statement, police were alerted by LAS, London Ambulance Service, at around 12:20 hours on Sunday, the 25th of October, in a report of a road traffic collision between a cyclist and a car in Grafton Road. The driver of the car had stopped at the scene and exchanged details with the cyclist, but left before officers arrived. The male cyclist received a minor injury to his arm, minor enough to take him to hospital, though, and was taken to hospital by LAS as a precaution. Really? Okay. Officers later attempted to contact the driver of the car and left a message advising him to report the matter to the police. The driver of the car subsequently attended a North London police station. He was not arrested or interviewed under caution. Now, what's my opinion on this? It's just double standard policing as per usual, isn't it? It seems that the law only applies for a certain set of people, and then it's the strong arm of the law. I am not happy with the way that the law is run in this country anymore, and I used to be a huge supporter of the law and law and order. Seems to be that it's just used as a political tool to attack certain people that they don't like, and that makes me want to get rid of them altogether, in my honest opinion.
There's two things that concern me. One is the fact, alright, yes, he only broke his arm, but he fled the scene. So, is that him basically saying, well, if I do it again, it don't matter what the alternative is for the person? And the second issue I have, yes, the guy might have only broke his arm, but we're in a pandemic, he might already be out of business, and then on top of this, it could be his writing hand, it could be his hand that he uses the most to do business. Now he can't even ride to work if he uses his bike for riding to work.
Well, he said that he'd contacted the cyclist, so I think he's been trying to sweep it under the carpet rather than being nice. You don't leave the scene of the crime.
No.
The only reason he left the scene of the crime to evade.
Yeah.
The only reason he went to the cop shop is because they left him a lovely little love note. End of story as far as I'm concerned. That alone should put him in hot water. But we all know the law, one rule for thee, but none for me.
Just alone though, them leaving the note should rile people up. I mean, he should be treated like every other person in the country.
Yeah, there is no equality under the law anymore. But let me know what you think, everyone. I'd like to know your opinion. Do you think this is another disgrace from the law, so-called law? Because this isn't law, is it? If it was you or me, we'd be in handcuffs, dragged out of any place that we were. They'd have tracked down where we were immediately for leaving the scene, and we would be embarrassed and all over the media for being a gimp. But he's not. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit the like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon, share it out, everyone. I'll see you on the next one.